Happy Friday and welcome to this week's edition of Friday 5 inside the Nebraska Innovation Campus Studio powered by the Nebraska Soybean Board. I'm Hannah Borg.
And I'm Bryce Duskett. We are bringing you the top 5 stories from this week in a quick video so that you can get on with your week.
Starting off this week in the number 5 slot is a positive story, especially if you are a meat producer. January exports of U.S. beef were significantly higher than the large totals of a year ago. Pork exports were steady in volume and increased in value. This is all according to data released by the USDA and compiled by the U.S. Meat Export Federation.
And coming in at number 4 is an event for you to attend this coming week. What are the local impacts of global changes and what do they mean for Nebraska? Those are the 2 questions that will be addressed during the final Hearman lecture of the 2017-18 season coming up on Tuesday, March 13th. The lecture will begin at 3:30 p.m. at the Nebraska Innovation Campus. The event is in conjunction with the CME Group Foundation Symposium, which is hosted by the Clayton Yiter Institute. The symposium will highlight the importance of international trade to Nebraska's economy. If you're interested in attending, you can learn more by visiting our website.
Number 3, President Trump Thursday unveils his plan to impose a 25% tariff on steel imports and 10% tariff on aluminum. The plan includes exceptions from Canada and Mexico. However, the tariffs could trigger a trade war between the U.S. and European Union and China, among others. Despite a large pushback by U.S. industry and trading partners, Trump is forging ahead with a plan that will go into effect in 15 days. Ag and industry groups fear the retaliation will harm the U.S. export markets and the U.S. rural economy. Bryce, speaking of exports, I hear you got to see firsthand where grain goes when it leaves the country, didn't you?
That's right, and coming in at our number 2 story this week, I traveled to the Pacific Northwest as part of the Nebraska Soybean Board See for Yourself tour. The trip led a group of Nebraska soybean growers to the state of Washington to increase their knowledge of how soybeans are exported to international customers and to explore non-traditional usage of soy products. The Pacific Northwest is an important region for soybean exports. The Nebraska Soybean Board reports that in 2017, more than a quarter of all U.S. soybean exports traveled through the Pacific Northwest. You can see a full recap of the trip, including online pictures and video as well as audio, on our website at ruralradio.com.
And finally, number 1 this week was the 30th Annual Governor's Ag Conference that was held out in Kearney, Nebraska. The conference provided a great lineup of speakers and panelists. Some topics the panels covered were international trade, ag diversification in small Nebraska communities, growth of food processing industries in Nebraska, as well as Nebraska leaders in the national spotlight. And one former Nebraska leader was back in the state. USDA Undersecretary Greg Ibott was on hand and gave a keynote speak updating the attendees from the USDA. Attendees also had the chance to hear from the Nebraska Athletic Director, Bill Moose.
Now, did he talk football or did he talk agriculture?
A little bit of both.
Best of both worlds. That is a look at the top 5 stories from this week. Have a great week, everyone.
And we'll see you right back here next week.